How did Fort Wayne Metals get its start, and what problem was it originally created to solve?
So the date was in the 60s. Ardell Glaze. So originally Fort Wayne Metals was part of, was it GE? Can't remember. It was like, it was not Fort Wayne Metals originally. Ardell Glaze purchased it from another entity. He created or started Fort Wayne Metals in the early 70s, somewhere around there, late 60s, early 70s. And their main thing was they used to make, in the black boxes, the recording wire. And that's how they originally got started.
All right, and what was the early vision for the company, and how has that vision evolved over the years?
So when Ardell took over the company, his focus was on, because he was going to school to be a doctor. And while he was doing his lab work, he was more into the research portion of it. So then he started on that medical side, with not so much the devices, but it was more in the research as to how the wire, could help develop with other, in the medical applications, basically. So.
And what do you think sets Fort Wayne Metals apart from other manufacturers in its early days?
Honestly, I think it was because or Ardell back in the day was very innovative in what he was, because he was kind of like the first to kind of develop some of these or learn more because of his research background. He kind of pioneered where we're at today.
And can you share a defining moment or breakthrough that shaped the company's growth?
It was probably I think it was William Cook, one of our medical device customers, who actually purchased the first raw material lot for us. They were kind of like I believe the story is they were almost in a line down situation and they needed some material. And I can't remember if it was either Bill Cook and Ardell were like, somehow there was a connection there. Bill Cook went to Ardell and asked him to do this, and then they purchased the first lot of material for us, and essentially that's kind of how we got started, and everything was successful, and here we are today.
And what are some of the most exciting advancements happening within the company right now?
If you go over to, I don't know if you're, taking her over to our Nighthawk facility, but they're always working on new items over there. So that's our research facility, and there's all kinds of things that they're getting into, and some of it we don't hear about, but I know they're developing a lot of new items for customers to solve their problems.
And then in what ways does Fort Wayne Metals invest in its employees' growth and education?
Scott is a big proponent on education. So one of the things that he does is tuition reimbursement. So if anybody who is interested in going back to college to get their degree, the company will pay for it. So no questions asked. So the only thing he asks is that you get a C or better in the class, but tuition is covered,
And then what challenges has Fort Wayne Metals faced over the years, and how has it overcome them?
So COVID was a big challenge for us because at that time everything, because we didn't know what was going on, and then the company was pretty much at a standstill, but it, especially with customers, because customers didn't know what to expect. But here we are, we're still growing strong, and our customers are still there, and that was one of the things that during that COVID, a lot of our competitors were raising their prices on the material because of demand. Scott and Fort Wayne Metals, we stayed true to our price point. So, and a lot of our customers, from the feedback we received, they were appreciative of and that's why we gained a lot of our business, or a lot of business from some customers because of that. We kept our prices consistent, and we didn't, inflate the cost of anything during that time.
And then how does Fort Wayne Metals support sustainability and responsible manufacturing?
Through our recycling program. We have a EHS team who's in charge of everything, with when it comes to the environment and being environmentally conscious, throughout our facilities, and making sure the recycling program is, we're sorting everything and scrapping out what we can and trying to reuse things that we can as well. So.
And then what role does community involvement play in the company's mission?
Oh, that's a big role. So Scott, it was like 2021 or 22. I can't remember exactly. Scott created his mom and dad, so Ardell and Teresa Glaze. Ardell was the founder, so he created the foundation that gives grants back to the community. So that's one way that he helps give back. Also, there's a lot of employees who volunteer for either Habitat for Humanity. There's also a day of caring, where some employees go out into the public and help, whether it was I think one year they went to the SPCA to donate their time and clean things up, paint, things like that. They've gone to schools, other businesses, nonprofit basically, to go and help and clean up their yard or do something back for the community. So, and in the last summer, or this past summer, we did a build for the Blue Jacket. We did 3 of those sheds for their the Fantasy of Lights, for their little craft display, or the craft whatever it is out there. So we built 3 sheds for them, so they can use that with that.
And then how does the company foster diversity, inclusion, and innovation within its teams?
So I know there's a team focused on that. So there is a group that gets together, I'd say, what is that, once a month or something like that, to discuss things like that and how we as a company can do better with the whole diversity, equity, and inclusion.
And then what do you see as the biggest opportunities ahead for Fort Wayne Metals and its industries?
Oh, that's a really good question. So it's I think that's the focus, is seeing what is out there and how we can help our customers with their challenges. And again, that's part of how we got started, is when other companies say no, Scott, that's one of the things that he preaches is, at least give it a try. It's when everybody else says no, we're going to be the ones that will always take on that challenge, just because that's how we were built.
And if you could share one message about Fort Wayne Metals with the community, what would it be?
I mean, I've been here 30 years, so it's been a great company. It's for everyone, not just for myself, but me personally. I mean, it started out as a job, but now it's a career for me. So it with my family, and it gives me an income, so that way I can give to my kids, and I've got a house, I got a good job, so basically it's everything.